Hey guys, it's Angel. Welcome back to the channel. And we're here in the Caribbean after the recent update to test out the latest aircraft from the local Legends series. This is IniBuilds Bell 47J Ranger. We're testing out the float version today because it's exactly like the non-float version, just floatier. Arguably both have essentially the same characteristics on land, so why not test this version? Either way, this is the Bell 47J. Not the 47 you think of from MASH, but a slightly later, fully enclosed with passenger seats. It could take 3 people enclosed variant, and this is of course being silly and zooming around. So we're going to go take a quick look outside whilst we do this. Now, it was the first president aircraft to carry a US president, and it was marketed as the executive version of the 47. As you'll note, we have a back seat that can seat 2, technically 3 people, if they're skinny, and not very heavy. So, really, the first 4-person aircraft, and there's pilots sitting in this seat on their own at the front in this total bubble canopy, which actually provides excellent visibility. Now, it's the newer version of the earlier H, of course, which was the deluxe version of the G, which is the one, of course, we all know. Of course, the H had a fully enclosed fuselage and enclosed cabin. The J was the more open one, of course, we know, with the classic skeletal tail. Now, this aircraft, of course, powered by a piston engine. In fact, it had a Lycoming VO540 B1B, which was a vertically mounted air-cooled flat 6. So it's not a radial. Sorry, I'm wrong. Mostly an idiot. Cruise speed of 79 knots, maximum speed of 91, range about 224 nautical miles, with a service ceiling of 11,000 feet. Of course, not pressurized, so that's a thing. Now, this comes from IniBuilds. It comes with a number of little candy features, which we'll have a quick look at here, whilst I take a look at the outside whilst we do it. Little tablet here, you can of course hide this as well. We can put a rain cover on it. We can put stairs out for this version, of course. And this reference data mark puts a marking on your actual glass with like a grease pencil, which gives you kind of the correct attitude for about 60 knots. So we'll take the rain cover off once you've seen it. It's a rain cover. It's like many other things. It's a rain cover. Yeah, it covers you from the rain. Now, of course, this is our aircraft here. And I'm in the wrong view mode. I should be out here, of course. So, in terms of modelling, really nice. And I will have to say, this has one opponent to really kind of face off against. Arguably an opponent that has a similar set of features in that you get a wheeled and float version. That one, of course, also has the side-mounted stretcher carriers because it's the fly-inside Bell 47. Really hard to fight against the Bell 47 from them. The sounds, the mechanics, the operation, the flight characteristics of that one are phenomenal. So we're going to see how this one behaves today. Now, of course, this is the float equipped one, so it's going to be a little stiffer, of course, with that weight underneath the aircraft, but we'll see how she operates. Of course, if I press the right buttons, we'll be able to get inside, and my sim decides to go blah, 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 as this tends to do sometimes. Cabin doors here. I love it when it decides it doesn't want any FPS. It's like, no, I've had enough. I want to go home. Now, to close these, of course, from the cockpit seat, pilot seat, you have to kind of scroll backwards a little bit to get around there. And you can see them. Of course, we've got a radio back here, have we? Does this actually do anything to us, or is it just static? It does not appear to do anything. Wasn't referenced in the manual, so not surprised there. Now, we'll go down here. We'll pull the stairs out. And the windshield mark you can just get rid of by clicking away, and it is gone, and you have that full, beautifully open visibility, nice and easy. So cockpit-wise, we can have this addition of a modern setup here with a GPS and a transponder if you want them. Or, no, wrong button, that's the datum thing. We can go to the classic cockpit and get rid of that, and put a radio up here. Now, both versions have little checklist controller down there. We can scroll through some items and look at them there. And we've got the rotor governor as an auto or manual. We're leaving ours in auto. And we'll turn that data mark on just for something to see in the windshield and put the modern cockpit on. So we'll go through the startup sequence here and take her for a spin. So before engine start, flight controls are checked. There we go. Free and clear, everything feels good with the aircraft. There we go. Cyclic is centered. Mixture control is to rich. Put that to rich there. Carburetor heat control is already on cold. Engine start, master battery to on. Generator switch to on. Interesting. Fuel switch to on. That is here. Mixture rich started to press. Ignition switch to both. Oh no, that first. Well, the sounds aren't as fulfilling as the fly inside. I mean, they're okay. There's less rotor chop and whistle. The engine sounds a little flatter. It's okay, I guess. Check oil pressure and engine systems. They're coming online. Okay. RPM's coming up. Other systems coming up line. Slightly above idle for throttle mixture. Okay, that is set to rare 3100 on RPM. We're in green. Mag test. Engine RPM check. Ignition switch to left. To right. Those are both good. Yeah, looking good. Right, so let's take it for a spin, shall we? Let's get my head switched on here. Put my controller down somewhere so I'm not having to hold that too. Of course, avionics on for our avionics, and they, of course, are down here. Pretty sure I use 1200 in the Caribbean. I've been flying in Europe, so I've been using 7000 a lot. Transponder is on. That's not relevant for today. So we're going to get ourselves up here and just get off the ground. So we'll give it a little bit of throttle. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, we're going backwards. That's not intended. Hello. Little forward, please. Little forward. This is me. Okay. Not enough rotor trim where it should be for the moment. Okay, we'll climb out here. And this is Ile de Santos? Or Ile de Sant? Ile de Santos in the Caribbean. I believe it's French pronunciation. Santos? Sans? Ile de Sans? Either way. Little 1900 foot paved strip down here in the Caribbean. With a helipad, but taking off on helipads means your engine's already started, which is a pain. I must say, if these are the updates we're getting for some of these parts of the world, I will have to fly in the Caribbean a lot more. This is very pretty. Now, visibility on this aircraft is very good. Lots going on down here. Obviously, this huge windshield is great for us. Speed is not fantastic, but then again, did we expect speed to be fantastic? She's not exactly a rocket ship. Definitely meant to be flown visually rather than by the instruments, which are down to your left in terms of keeping an eye on them. There we go, my head tracking is misbehaving slightly because it keeps falling off my head. My fault, not the technology. She's stable, very well behaved in flight. I'm not really feeling any major issues with how she behaves. Nice and gentle overall. Yeah, that snap of the appearance is different in my head. I was flying earlier, it was all fine, and now it's not. One of those things that would require a restart, which I will quickly do whilst we're flying here. Whoop! Head tracking stopped. Everything goes back to normal. Head tracking start. I want you all return to perfection without bugging me because it decided it wanted to move an LED by 1 millimeter. That's much better. Got the hill here. We'll climb up to the peak and then we'll take a look down the island and we'll come back towards the airfield. So, for the typical price in the marketplace with discount, of course, if you have deluxe or premium deluxe versions, it's not awful. It's definitely not the Fly Inside 47, which is arguably the best 47 we've got, in fact the only one. But I still think is one of the better helicopters we have in the sim. The Fly Inside 47 to me is a fantastic rendition of an early helicopter. And this one feels a little bit more two-dimensional. Not by much, but it is up against a very, very good aircraft in the Fly Inside 47. So whilst that is more of a a nuance here in terms of quality. This is still good. It's not a bad aircraft at all. Texturing and modelling look very good. Functionality in a simple aircraft is there. But of course, it is competing against something that's very, very good. Now, we've seen a couple of these aircraft come out with updates and with versions which are a little bit tone deaf sometimes. This is cool because, okay, it's the 47J, but you get to be Robert Downey Jr. in a news helicopter, of course, if you want to, for the Air America vibes. But when it comes to things like a second 47, is it really worth it? No, seeing as you have a fantastic one, and this is also payware. Weird choice to pick, arguably. Now, of course, them choosing to put another goose in with the 40th anniversary was, okay, good because it's a free goose, but a weird choice considering we already had a fantastic payware goose and a really decent freeware one in terms of the remastered one ported in. So a goose was a weird choice to give then. And for this, of course, I still think it's a poor choice because it's a second payware aircraft of the similar type, when we arguably have a very, very good one. So we'll land out here in the bay before we take off again and head out towards the airport, just to our right. So we'll bring it down here. I'll reduce the collective. Let us start to settle down. We're going to touch down towards the jetty over there, using that as our reference point. Actually, no. We'll use the boat down below us. Seems like a good bet as any. She's certainly able to fly very slowly. Okay. Let's arrest our descent here. Make a little approach towards our little friend here. Nice and simple. Keep it slow. We're sinking. I don't want to hit the water too hard here. I'm starting to fly a little backwards. This thing really does want to go slowly, and it will settle down quite quickly. Okay, and keeping my reference point over water, slightly more interesting hover, but... And we landed whilst having some backwards. So cyclic does to arrest our backing up in the water. Not bad. Pretty gentle to land in the water. Let's get out of here, in fact. I think the whole bubble canopy is very distracting, actually. I'm not sure what my pitch is, because the bottom of the cockpit is down here, so when I'm looking at a really normal angle, everything just seems like nothing's moving around me, and I'm pushing the controls and not seeing how much movement I'm getting, so that's more of the actual type of aircraft than this specific model having a problem. It's more just feels weird, I guess would be the correct phrase to use there. What is that? Is that a graveyard? That looks like a graveyard. Right, that is a graveyard. Okay, who chose to build the graveyard right next to the airport? I mean, it's not like they've got a ton of choices, is it? But really? You put the graveyard next to the airport? That is just asking for it. That is like saying, challenge accepted. Grim pilot humour. Right, let's go down, shall we? Now, I will say I have flown the wheeled skid version of this rather than float. Tiny bit more manoeuvrable, tiny bit. Arguably very similar flight characteristics, so not exactly worth showing separately. Flies very much the same. Obviously, you don't get the steps that you would with the float version. Don't need them. It does have little ground handling wheels attached that don't do anything, of course. Okay, bring it down to our helipad. Very, very gentle, of course. It being a piston, the response on the power is very much immediate. Oh, there we go. What I like is the little shadow you get on the cockpit from the grease mark on the glass. So that actually does have an effect visually, which is quite nice. And shut down. It's nice and simple. And she is shut down. Turn the head off there, so you get to see this normally. I'll pan the camera away from my ugly mug. It's worth the cheap price they ask for it. It really is. It's nowhere near as good as, of course, the fly inside. You want the definitive Bell 47, that's the one you buy. But if you want a slightly newer one, fully enclosed one, the first aircraft to carry a president, or first helicopter to carry a president, you want to be Robert Downey Jr.? It's not bad. It is decent enough. I like it. Certainly did a good job. Looks nice, flies well, slow. If you want a faster helicopter, there are many options out there. Either way, thanks for watching. Bye.